Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to integrate Adapty Kotlin Multiplatform SDK to your Kotlin Multiplatform app. Adapty provides in-app purchase and subscription SDK, and now in this video we will see how to integrate our app. Before starting, I want to show you the initial version of the application that doesn't have anything related to the Adapty. Basically, it's empty Jetpack Compose Multiplatform file, and it says you are premium user or you are in free plan based on if the user has premium access or not. And when they're clicking the premium feature, if the user has access to premium features, then it will be visible. The premium content will be visible. If not, we need to show paywall to the user, and user can buy subscription or whatever if you provide to them. And we have this empty app initializer part. Let me remove that first. uh, Initializer part, which in our Android application we call this initialize part, and in our Swift side as well we call this initialize part. And we have some constants files that we will need to add some API key, and that's all. So first we need to add our dependencies, adaptive dependency. You can check it from the documentation as well, but mainly we need Adapty KMP and Adapty KMP UI models, and make sure you check the latest version of the library from the GitHub page of the Adapty KMP SDK, and you can see the currently latest version is 0.14.0 beta 0. And after we add these two dependency, one is needed for core SDK and one is needed for the UI related part, such as some native paywall, native onboarding. After we added that, we need to initialize our SDK, and we need to call Adapty, activate Adapty config. We need our API key, and my real API key is in constants2 file, so that's why I will do it constants2 and build. There are a lot of in the builder there is a lot of like configurations that you can update, but mainly we will only need activate UI to true. This is for needed to show the remote paywall that we can configure our paywall UI from the Adapty SDK site, Adapty website. And because it's suspend function, we need to call it in our application scope, coordinate scope, and that's all. After we initialize our Adapty SDK, we need to load our paywalls beforehand. So when the user needs to show, when we need to show some paywall to the user, he doesn't wait for the paywall. Instead, it's preloaded beforehand. For that, in our data layer, we will store our paywall cache, and it will be string and adaptive paywall. This string is adaptive placement ID. This is one of the things that we need to hardcode in our app. It's basically, you can read it in documentation as well, more detail, but it's mainly the things that we need to tell the adaptive where we will show this paywall. Usually only one placement is enough for the getting started, but what I do usually, I create, for example, one placement for the default paywall, I call it default, and one placement for the onboarding. So based on the placement ID, we can show the different paywalls. For example, in the onboarding, we can show more, let's say, expensive paywalls, and in the default, we can show a different paywall. And we need to load our paywalls. Let's go load paywalls, and we will call this in when the application is started, application is initialized. So we call adaptive get paywall, and we need this placement ID hard coded. We need to hard code this placement, adaptive placement id default. In my case, the default value is default with 2D, and it returns some adaptive result, and based on success and on failure on error. In error case, we can, for example, just print some message error occurred while fetching adapt paywall, and we can print error message as well. And on success, we can just store in our cache, paywall cache equal paywall. And we need to call this load paywall in our initialization part. After adapt is activated, we call load payables. Now we go our compose file, and we need to check if the user has premium access or not. Again, in our data layer, we have this user has premium subscription flow, and for now it's false. Basically, the reason it's flow because when the user subscribed, we need to update it automatically. So based on that, our compose file will be changed. We'll need to create callback flow, and then in Adapty there is listener called on profile update listener. Basically, this listener will be called whenever user profile something is changed with the user profile. Let's say user restores some subscription, or user buys some premium subscription, and etc. And it has this profile has access levels. Basically, this access levels is like the levels that based on, for example, we can create some premium access, and uh, let's say usually in most applications it's like the one access level, but when the application grows it can be, for example, 2 3. For example, I can say in the Tinder there is, for example, premium or platinum. This premium and platinum is called access level here in Adaptive. And what we need to do is to check from there can be multiple access levels. What we need specifically, for example, in Adaptive I created uh, called premium, this level premium, and I called it premium. You can access this access levels from products page. In the access level you can see by default, as I remember that by default premium one is created, and you can add more when you need it. And in data layers, from this multiple access levels we only need, for example, the premium access level, premium access level, and we need to update our flow if this premium access level is not null and this premium access level is active. If it's active, then it means the user has premium subscription. And then Adapty, it should be set on profile updated listener. Then callback flow. I forgot the function name. Adapty, set on profile listener null when the flow is closed. Await close, yes. When our flow is closed, we just set this listener to null. And now finally we can go our compose file, and what we can do here we need to show paywall. For showing the paywall, we need to create uh, adaptive paywall view, and it will be adaptive paywall UI paywall view. Initially it will be null. Yes, and then when our the only one time, what we need to do is actually we will need to pass adaptive paywall view, and if adaptive paywall view is null, we need to get this paywall view. Data layer from the paywall cache, we get default paywall, basically placement name default paywall, and then Adapty UI create paywall view, and we need to pass this paywall, and then on success we just store this paywall view. Here I will just for a temporary delay. Usually, if the in the situation is that you would do, you need to wait for the paywall loaded, then you need to show this paywall, or you need to show some loading progress to the user while the paywall is loading, then you need to show temporarily. I just called it delay, but we can do showing some loading the user as well. And here we on adaptive paywall view, and we call present, and we need to call it in our Kotlin scope. And our Kotlin scope we launch, and we present our paywall, and that should be all. Let's run this application for testing. So you are in free plan, we don't have any subscription. We click button and we don't see nothing. Let me open the logs. Did I forget something? Data layer, paywall. Looks like our paywall is null for some reason. Okay, if you okay, now it works. I think there was some probable issue with loading the paywall, and we can buy, for example, one of the subscription. Let's say we buy it. Yes, and I forgot one thing. We need basically we need listener, and based on that listener, we needed to close our paywall. Let me see. Yes, here what we say is Adapty UI set paywall events observer Adapty UI paywall events observer. Here, for example, when it's successful, paywall view did finish purchase. We can print something. Paywall was purchase was successful. You are premium user, it's because we bought it previously. Let me clear the data and try again. This time we will try the restaurant the purchase. All right, that's all. And we can, yes,